Hey, what's going on? This is Jordan Wagner with PremierGuitar.com here with Chris Broderick and Dave Mustaine of Megadeth. How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks a lot for your time. Hey, thanks. So I guess we'll start with Dave. You want to tell us about your new signature Dean V that you got right now?
The V. It's VMNT, and it's basically a derivative of a word that started with V, and I've had this guitar for 4 years now. We designed it back when I first came to Dean, and Dean was notorious for having 3 in a row. Their headstock split in a very large V shape. And I'm a 6 in a row guy, so I told him, I said, I'd love to come here, but I just got to tell you, I need that change. And they said, sure. And I was, really? That was easy. So we've had a great relationship ever since. And I think the guitars, for me, you know, I've played every guitar brand there is. And I mean, it's, you know, with the FCC coming down on everybody with celebrity endorsements now and stuff like that, you know, you have to be able, if you're going to endorse something, you need to be able to stand behind that product, or I could be sued if anybody found out that the product was fraudulent, which the stuff isn't. It's great musical instruments, and I totally stand by it.
Right on, right on. So there's a signature pickup for you in the guitar too, right?
Yeah, it's a Seymour Duncan live wire is what it's called, and it's an active pickup. I've never really was an active guy, and then they gave me this pickup, and it was like the ones I was using, but with a little more oomph to it, you know, and it was cool to have a guitar that sounded the way that I wanted it to sound without me having to adjust the amp a lot. Before, you know, this is one of those guitars you can just plug in and it sounds good.
Can you run us through the live rig you're using right now as far as amps go?
Live rig? No. I can tell you as much as I know about it. It's all Marshall. And then we have DigiTech
GSP1101.
Yeah, one of those crazy guitar processors. And we used to use Prophecies, and the thing is like Megadeth sound's always evolved, and because the way we do it in the studio, the two guitars really play off of each other, and the difference in the hand styles is what establishes the dynamic between the guitar sounds. It's not so much you have 2 different players with completely diametrically opposed guitar sounds, which ends up just becoming a mess in the frequency map. I don't like doing that, and I think that that's one of the things that's beautiful about the simplicity of how we approach rhythm. There's a left track and a right track, and then there's another track right up the middle. And I usually go pan to each side, and then in the past, my complementary guitar player would always go right in the middle, and then that pretty much gave it enough movement, so it sounded really tight, but it wasn't, you know, dozens of guitar tracks like Randy Rhoads used to do and stuff like that. It worked for him, but, you know, I mean, I don't think I could do the same thing 12 times in a row if I tried it. So for me, having the right equipment right out of the gate really, really helps, and there's certain stuff in our rig that we use. Of course, Chris has personal stuff that he likes that's different from mine because I'm more of a meat and potatoes kind of guy, you know. I do really good with a few colors, and I've always had really great guitar players to compliment me with that, you know, fully knew how to use the whole palette. You know what I'm saying?
The preamp, I think that's also done just for simplicity and ease. You know, so we can get a diverse set of tones but still keep it simple, because we don't need a ton of different amps breaking down, you know, night after night.
Yeah. I do know that there's a lot of top quality stuff out in the marketplace right now, and we've been willing to buy all the stuff we use. We don't play it just because it's free. You know, that's, I think, whoring yourself out. And the thing with Marshall, I've played Marshall forever, and Chris, when he joined the band, was playing Engel amps, and you know, we talked a lot about, you know, it's not about Engel amps, it's about the Marshall sound, and you know, Chris still believes in Engel a lot. It's a great product, and it's just that I established the band on the Marshall sound, and you know, the cool thing is that when we're in the studio, man, it's like I don't even care what Chris does in there, because he just is so knowledgeable in the studio. Like, for example, with the other guys we would work with, I would do tell them where solo would go, you know, and when we would do the rhythms, when we would break it up, if it was a really complicated rhythm, I would play the rhythm because I'm a better rhythm guitar player, and the other guitar player was much more adept at playing solos over complicated rhythm sections. Now, I can't really play solos great, so I play over the more simple stuff. And with the other guitar players, whenever the solos would come in, I'd have to go in and listen to them because it's just like, all right, what happened today, you know? And I remember one time I got in this huge fight with Dan Huff because of the solo for Trust. I thought it was missing some stuff in the beginning. I still do. Every time I hear that solo, I'm hearing a part that's supposed to be there that's missing. So, but with Chris, man, I had two times that I spoke to him at all. We were in Manchester, and it was the very first solo he did on 1320, and I said, this is not the right direction to how we're going to do things. And he said, okay, let me see what you're going to do. And I said, okay, this is what I was going to do. And I put down a couple solos. He went, and he went home, and then the entire record, all those millions of notes on Endgame, there was one thing I said I didn't like. He had a dive bomb thing, and he went like, boom, and it just... Is that what it's called?
You know where you... I don't have the bar in there, but where you just basically flick it so it tremolos really quickly.
Oh, like tap it behind it.
Like Night Ranger.
Yeah. No! Cacophony. Damn it.
It was a cacophony, that's for sure. No, but that was the only thing, man, you know, and think about what a relief that was for me as a player, you know. I mean, I'm established. I've got my whole career's established. I don't have to, I mean, you can't get any more legendary than being a legend, you know, so it's
Right.
like, I'm okay. I wanted, when I saw Chris, I was just like, okay, let's see what you can do. And listening to the record, every time I listen to it, it's like there's a couple solos, I just shake my head, and I'm like, wow. You know, and that's exciting for me, because I play with some great guys, but this is, for me, by far the best lineup Megadeth's ever had, and I know because I've been in them all.
So, Chris, you want to tell us about this Ibanez Prestige that you're playing right now?
Sure. Right now, I'm playing the S-Series Ibanez Prestige, mainly because of this tremolo system. I love that tremolo system, and it's the only one that they put on their production series right now. So eventually I'm going to have that on an RGA series that we're working on. And then I have two DiMarzio deactivator pickups that I love. I actually stumbled on those totally by accident because I had been endorsing bare knuckle pickups and was having issues with a little bit of feedback, you know, and getting, I mean, when you're on tour in different places in different areas of the world, you need to get things done quickly, right? I mean, you can't have feedback night after night. And
Mandolin strings in Wichita.
And so anyway, so at any rate, you know, I was having some issues getting really quick feedback as far as getting new pickups installed and stuff like that. So what I would do is every time I got a new guitar, I'd have them throw random pickups in. You know, oh, give me the DiMarzio. I think I tried out an X2, and I tried out some Seymour stuff, the Blackouts and stuff like that. And then one day I asked them for the deactivators, and it was just like, this pickup is everything I want. I can't think of any tonal quality that I don't like about it. So at any rate, that's my guitar. And then as far as the live rig, our rigs are actually virtually identical, and that's so that we keep that tightness that he was talking about earlier. And so right now we're running straight into the DigiTech preamp, into the Marshall power amp, and into Marshall cabinets loaded.
You should have asked him first.
Loaded with the vintage 30s. So it's just your traditional thrash setup, you know. I mean, that's what we're out here to do. So we're doing it.
It's Murphy's Law. The more the variables are in the mix, the more things can go wrong. I remember one time we were in South America, and I was using CAE Bradshaw's switcher, and it broke, and we turned it upside down to fix it, and everything was painted, so you couldn't tell what any of the components were in it. So we were in South America with a piece of gear that was broken, and called up, no one was there, and when we finally did get somebody, they didn't act like they gave a shit, and so that was when I went over and started getting some switchers from Rocktron. You know, and then the Rocktron thing, like I was saying about the Prophecy earlier, it's a great product. You know, for people who are starting out and using the Prophecy or the Prophecy 2, there's nothing wrong with that. We found that there's stuff that we do that the DigiTech has just a little bit of a difference that we need. And so, you know, it's not that we left because it's not a good product. So I got to make that absolutely clear.
So there you have it. Megadeth's Endgame is out in stores right now. Catch them out on tour. This is Jordan Wagner, and you're watching PremierGuitar.com.